Welcome to Business Book Daily. Today I'm breaking down Deep Work by Cal Newport, a book about why the ability to concentrate without distraction has become one of the most valuable skills in business. I'll cover the big idea, the practical business lesson, and 3 sharp insights you can use right away. Let's get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. Want to sell more without adding fixed payroll? A lot of smart operators hire commission-only reps, experienced sellers who get paid only when they produce results. If that sounds like a smarter way to scale, post your opportunity at commissiononly.com. Thousands of motivated reps are actively looking for performance-based roles right now. Commissiononly.com. Today's book is Deep Work by Cal Newport. He's a computer science professor, best-selling author, and workplace thinker who studies how people can produce valuable work in a distracted world. The central idea is that the ability to focus without interruption is becoming both rarer and more valuable. People who can concentrate on difficult work, learn complex skills, and produce at a high level have a major advantage. But many workplaces make that concentration almost impossible. Employees spend their days moving between email, meetings, messages, notifications, dashboards, and small requests. They stay busy from morning to evening, but often reach the end of the day without completing the work that matters most. That's what makes this book useful. It separates activity from value. The practical lesson is simple. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. Deep work is focused effort on a demanding task that creates meaningful value. It might mean writing a strategy, solving a technical problem, designing a product, analyzing difficult data, preparing an important proposal, or learning a skill that improves your future performance. Shallow work is different. It includes routine email, status updates, simple administration, scheduling, and meetings that don't require much thought. Some shallow work is necessary. The problem is that it expands until it takes over the entire day. A full inbox feels urgent. A crowded calendar looks important. Fast replies are visible. Deep work is usually quieter. It often happens where nobody can see it, during long periods of concentration without messages, meetings, or applause. That creates a problem for businesses. Many companies reward visible activity because it's easy to notice. They praise the person who responds instantly, attends every meeting, and appears constantly available. But availability isn't the same as output. The employee who protects 2 hours to solve a major problem may create more value than someone who spends 8 hours reacting to everyone else's priorities. One of the book's biggest ideas is that deep work creates rare value. The ability to concentrate helps people do 2 things that matter in almost every modern industry: learn difficult skills quickly and produce work at a high level. Both require sustained attention. You can't learn a complex skill well while checking messages every few minutes. You can't solve a difficult problem if your attention keeps getting pulled toward unrelated requests. Deep work gives your brain enough uninterrupted time to understand the problem, connect ideas, test options, and produce something better than a rushed first answer. The second major idea is that shallow work can quietly take over. Shallow tasks often feel productive because they're easy to complete. You can answer an email, update a spreadsheet, approve a request, and leave a meeting with several small items crossed off your list. That creates a sense of progress. But a long list of completed tasks can hide the fact that the important project hasn't moved. The question isn't whether shallow work exists. It's whether it has been allowed to consume the time and attention that higher value work needs. Another important idea is attention residue. When you switch from one task to another, part of your attention remains stuck on the task you just left. Imagine working on a strategic plan, checking email for 2 minutes and then returning to the plan. You may be back at the document, but part of your mind is thinking about the message you read, the reply you need to send, or the problem someone just mentioned. That leftover attention weakens the next task. Same thing happens when you move constantly between messages, calls, reports, meetings, and focused work. Even short interruptions have a cost beyond the minutes they consume. They make the next block of work slower and weaker. This is why multitasking is usually a poor description of what's happening. Most people aren't doing several demanding tasks at once. They're switching rapidly between them and paying a mental cost every time. The book also argues that boredom strengthens concentration. That sounds strange at first, but the logic is clear. If you reach for your phone every time nothing is happening, your brain becomes trained to expect constant stimulation. You wait in line, check your phone. You take a short break, open an app. You hit a difficult point in your work, look at a message. Over time, your mind learns that it never has to stay with boredom, difficulty, or uncertainty. But deep work requires exactly that ability. You have to remain with a problem even when the answer isn't obvious. You have to stay with the task when progress feels slow. Small moments without stimulation help rebuild that capacity. The final major idea is that depth needs structure. Deep work rarely happens because someone suddenly feels focused. It usually happens because the person created a system, they scheduled the time, chose the task, removed distractions, set a goal, decided what could interrupt them, and began before the calendar filled with other demands. System matters because willpower isn't reliable. If every focus session requires a fresh battle against email, notifications, and meetings, shallow work will often win. So how do you apply these ideas? Start by identifying the work that creates the most value. Ask which activities improve the product, solve an important customer problem, build useful knowledge, increase revenue, reduce a major cost, or create an advantage competitors can't easily copy. Those tasks should receive the team's best attention, not whatever energy remains after the inbox is empty. Next, separate deep work from shallow work. View a typical week and label the major activities. Writing a proposal, solving a difficult operating problem, developing strategy, or building a product may require depth. Routine email, basic reporting, scheduling, and many status meetings are usually shallow. The goal isn't to remove every shallow task. It's to stop shallow work from consuming the entire week. Then schedule focused work before the calendar fills. Don't wait for a free afternoon. It probably won't appear. Block specific periods for demanding work and protect them like important meetings. Even a 2-hour block 3 times a week can produce meaningful results when it's used consistently. Give each focus block a clear goal. Work on strategy is too vague. Draft the 3 priorities for next quarter, gives the session a finish line. Improve the proposal is unclear. Rewrite the pricing section and add evidence for the recommended option, tells you what success looks like. A clear goal reduces the time wasted deciding what to do. Reduce task switching by grouping similar work together. Answer routine email at planned times instead of checking it throughout the day. Review reports in one block. Place related meetings near one another. Handle administrative tasks together. The fewer times you switch, the more attention remains available for meaningful work. Create communication rules. Constant availability makes deep work almost impossible. Teams need to know which issues truly require an immediate response, which channels should be used for emergencies, and when routine messages will be checked. Without those rules, everything starts to look urgent. Shorten the path to focused work, close unused tabs, silence notifications. Put the phone out of reach. Prepare the files and information you'll need before the session begins. These steps sound small, but every barrier between you and a distraction makes it easier to stay with the task. View recurring meetings. Ask whether each meeting still needs to happen, whether everyone needs to attend, and whether the same result could be reached through a short written update. Weekly meeting that wastes 1 hour for 10 people doesn't cost 1 hour. It costs 10. Meetings should earn their place on the calendar. Train managers to measure output instead of responsiveness. Fast replies can create the appearance of productivity while serious work remains unfinished. Judge people by the quality, usefulness, and value of what they produce, not by whether they answer every message within 5 minutes. Make concentration part of the culture. Leaders can't demand thoughtful work while interrupting employees all day. Managers need to respect focus blocks, send clearer requests, reduce unnecessary meetings, and stop treating every issue as an emergency. If a leader sends messages at all hours and expects instant replies, the team will learn that visible responsiveness matters more than meaningful output. Help employees build the skill gradually. Someone who's used to constant interruption may not be able to focus for 3 hours immediately. Start with 30 or 45 minutes. Remove distractions, set one clear target, then increase the time as concentration improves. Focus is a skill, not just a personality trait. Practice being unavailable to stimulation too. Take a short walk without your phone. Wait in line without opening an app. Take a break without checking messages. These small moments teach your brain that it doesn't need constant input. Set a limit on shallow work. Decide how much of the week should be spent on administration, routine communication, and meetings. When shallow work exceeds that limit, review what can be removed, delegated, automated, shortened, or grouped together. Limit forces better decisions. Without one, shallow tasks will keep expanding. Use a shutdown routine at the end of the day. Review unfinished work, record the next actions, check tomorrow's calendar. Decide what matters most next. This helps clear mental clutter and makes it easier to begin the next day with direction. Finally, protect recovery. Deep concentration is demanding. People can't maintain it every waking hour. Clear stopping times, breaks, sleep, and time away from work help restore the ability to think well the next day. Rest isn't the enemy of productivity. It supports the kind of focus that valuable work requires. Now, here are 3 insights worth sharing. First, busyness is easy to display, but valuable work usually happens where nobody can see it, during long periods of focused thought without meetings, messages, or applause. Second, every interruption has a cost beyond the time it takes. Part of your attention stays behind, making the next task slower and weaker. Third, the ability to concentrate is no longer just a personal habit. In a distracted economy, it's a competitive advantage for both people and companies. Today's closing sponsor is memoirghostwriting.com. Many of the best business books start as ideas leaders have been refining for years. Memoirghostwriting.com works with founders, executives, and industry experts to turn those ideas into polished business books that build authority, attract leads, and open doors. They handle everything from interviews to writing to editing to publishing. If there's a book in your head that should already be helping your business, learn more at memoirghostwriting.com. That's it for today. See you next time.